This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. Magazine publisher and entrepreneur Judith Mancini is sharing captivating conversations with experts in their field about the latest trends in our ever-changing world to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Judith Mancini today will spark your interest and inspire you to lead your best life ever. And now, here's Judith.
Thank you for joining Judith Mancini today. We have some great guests for you, but before we do that and introduce you to the three of them and talk about their great music, I'm just going to give you a little roundup of some news that I think is important for you to hear. One is from TMZ, you know, that's the entertainment station, and apparently, Matthew Perry was given ketamine, which is to help depression and all, as well as helping you get off of drugs. Apparently, he was given some that was not prescribed to him, and he died of an overdose. It makes you pass out and go to sleep. So he died of that overdose and sank into his hot tub. The reason I'm telling you this is because multiple people have been arrested in this problem with Matthew Perry, including one doctor. So they apparently, when they were investigating it, found out that he had some text on his cell phone, and that's what made them start this investigation. Hollywood is a wonderful career, but it's also a person destroyer. The drug problem and depression, you wouldn't think that people are successful or depressed, but they are. Okay, so we're sorry we lost Matthew Perry, and we will follow this to see exactly what went on. Now I want to switch to the world news and say, I am disgusted that the Taliban is having parades with the guns that they kept from the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Also, the other day, our president, Joe Biden, made a statement that no troops had died under his watch. Well, how come he forgot about the 13 people that were killed in Afghanistan? It was him who did that disastrous withdrawal. So there is the Taliban parading around, letting the world see that they now have the United States weapons. So that upset me this morning. And apparently they are going after Hunter Biden now because he intimated that he was asking the United States government for help with the Burisma deal. Now, I don't know if he intimated that or if he actually put it in his letter, so I'm not going to say anything about how it was discovered. But that does sort of implicate his father, Joe Biden, who continues to say he never knew anything about Hunter's business. Who is Kamala? Who is running our country right now? You know, Kamala has been put out there to sort of be the spokesperson, however she never speaks, of the president of the United States because she still is the standing vice president. But she's not around. She can't talk to anybody. She's trying to take the place of a doddering fool when she is really the fool. She can't even speak at an interview or a press conference or anything else. Now, how the heck is she going to speak to Xi, Putin, any of these people? It's disgusting. Well, the convention for the Democrats is coming up on August 19th. That's next Monday. What are we going to see? She says she has all the delegates. But what if they pull a fast one? And instead of putting Kamala in there, what if they replace her with somebody like Michelle Obama or someone else? Who knows? In the meantime, who is running our country and watching after our safety? Because it's not the vice president, it's not the president. And Kamala seems to think that she's already the president. Is it Blinken that is running everything, our Secretary of State? Well, while you're thinking about this convention, go ahead and write down a lot of questions you would like answered, and let's see what they have to say. All right, well, that's my little quickie roundup of the news today. I'm not going to tell you any more about that. I will, though, next week after the convention is over. It is over on Thursday, the 22nd. So we should know all of these answers to convention questions and the Democrat Party on that day. Now, we are going to bring on our guest. Our guests are the Patriots. They're excuse me, I don't want to say this wrong. Patriotic. Did I write down demand? The Patriotic, backed by popular demand. I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of things going on today that has gotten me a little confused. The Patriot Nation is going to tell us about their patriotic music. And so, Juan, if you'll bring them in as I duck down here to plug my laptop back in. Yeah, you think you have problems today, Jeff? I can't even get on the air correctly. You want to bring all three of them on, please? Thank you. All right, everybody, I want you to meet these wonderful people. Jeff has been on a couple times, and actually Charles has been on one time with Jeff because they do things together. But Georgie is new for us.
Hi.
Jeff, I want you to tell me how you found these wonderful people. Now, I think Charles was with you in law enforcement, or did you just meet through some organization in law enforcement? Did you actually work together?
Well, Charles and I met.
Excuse me.
We were about 18 years old up in Lake Tahoe, actually, and we recently took a trip back to the place we actually met. This little Pee Wee golf course, and it's still there. So he and I have had a long friendship.
Where was that? In South Lake or North?
It was up by Kings Beach area.
I lived in Incline Village for quite a while.
Yeah, that area. So we've known each other. We've been best friends a long time, and we went into law enforcement together. And so it's funny. We've done a lot of things together, but we've never been doing creative stuff together. And it's weird that it took, from 45 years for us to actually say, hey, we actually are a pretty good team doing creative things. So
yes,
we're writing books now. We're doing music, and Georgie I've known for about 10 years, and I can let Georgie say how we met.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Jeff and I actually met on July 4th on the top of our building when we went to go watch some fireworks. And I saw this.
Of your building?
Yeah.
In
our apartment. Yeah, on our apartment building. So I saw this cute guy, and I was like, oh, he's pretty attractive. And then, then we ended up dating, and we just dated briefly, but then we decided that we were just better off friends. So, yeah.
Well, you were very gracious to say, yes, I'll still be your friend.
And actually, Jeff and I are best friends. So we talk practically every day. We text like a million times a day. And then we decided that, like, you know, actually the spark became because we started doing music together. And I was like, wow, I really, really like this guy. And I told his mom first that I really liked Jeff. And she said, no, don't even bother. He doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to have kids. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I told Jeff in the jacuzzi one night, you know, your mom says I shouldn't bother because you don't want to have kids and don't get married. And he said, no, I do. And then we kissed, and there was like sparks and bunnies and rainbows, you know, the whole thing. And it kind of went from there. And it got pretty intense. At one stage. I felt very in love with Jeff. But yeah, we just decided we were better off as friends. And yeah, he's like my best friend. Couldn't imagine life without him.
What did you think of that, Charles?
Well, I never kissed Jeff, so I don't know.
So you can't rate him on that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think I also met Charles at the jacuzzi too. Didn't I meet you also at the same jacuzzi?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The jacuzzi brought us all together.
That is amazing. You were sort of baptized by the water in the jacuzzi.
Right. Pretty cool.
Very funny. Okay, so what did you and Jeff, Charles, what did you two do in the very beginning with your creative work?
The first thing was actually this album called The Promise of Freedom, which I wrote that song after the whole debacle with Trump being found guilty of all these, you know, bogus crimes that they can't define. And I was just kind of like, you know, this is just terrible. And, you know, the whole justice system is corrupt. You know, what happened to that promise of freedom that we had? And I ended up writing a song about it. And then I showed it to Charles, and Charles he's a historian and a patriot as well. And he wrote something for me and said, what do you think of this? And he, you know, and the thing is, Charles has known me for so long, and he's a big music guy, that he also knows, he's like innately knows song structure and everything, just because he's hung out with me for so long, right? And so he wrote this song. I was like, wow, this is really good. And then Georgie said, because I talk to Georgie every day, as she said, and she goes, you guys are writing songs? I want to write a song too. And so she wrote a song, and all of a sudden I was just like, huh, when was the last time somebody wrote a patriotic album? You know, and that's kind of so it sort of just grew organically from me being frustrated one night, you know, about what's going on in our country. You know, it wasn't just the Trump thing, it's everything that's led up to that moment, right? Sure. And that's what made me write the song. And then from there, it just grew organically, and ended up writing a whole bunch of really great songs, you know, I think it's, you know, maybe a little bit biased, but I think it's one of the best patriotic albums in a decade, yeah. You know.
Have to agree there.
Well, it's okay because it doesn't bother me. I'm on your side. So I think it's wonderful. It's a great, great album.
Thank you.
Because all three of you are on today, I didn't put any music up because we don't have time to listen and talk to you. Now, I know that Jeff and Charles wrote a book, and that's what they were on the show about.
That was actually another partner of mine. That was Frank. I wrote a book with Frank.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said, no, me and Charles are writing a book right now, like a fiction book.
I got you confused.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back to Charles for a minute. Jeff said something that caught my ear, and it was, you're a historian.
Yeah, you know, not by profession, obviously. I've always taken a strong interest in American history, and I think that was a product of my father, who was a history major. So I grew up with that arc, you know, listening to historical discussions with his friends and historical perspectives. So it was just, you know, I'll use Jeff's word, organically grown into me. And I found that I thrived when I took history classes in high school and college, that my interest was really focused on that. And so later in life, I traveled to bring history alive to me. I traveled back east quite a bit and went to pretty much every revolutionary site that still exists, homes that were built in the 1600s, and I just fell in love with it. And I've done a lot of reading myself. So every time I would go someplace, I'd buy a book of, Lexington and Concord battle, or the Battle of Bunker Hill, or Charleston, or what have you. And I just found myself gaining a lot of knowledge.
And do you do anything with it now, or this is a passion product?
Well, I'll enter. There's a true historian by profession, a gal by the name of Tara Ross, who I will converse with in her blogs, and she's very knowledgeable. So I'll interject some historical perspectives and add on to her broadcast or her blogs, along with other people. So nothing professionally. It's more like a hobby interest, but I'm never afraid to discuss stuff either. So.
And so is that why you got interested in writing with Jeff and Georgie, the music on the album being a Patriot? Because it seems like you were really into the American history of the beginning of our country.
Yeah, no, well, the music, like Jeff said, we've been friends, the majority of our lives. And I've always supported his musical endeavors. And whenever he would create a song or what have you, he would, play him. I say, oh, that's really good, and so when the opportunity came up, and like Jeff said, because of the dynamics that's going on in this country, I started writing down some ideas and said, well, let's see if I can't put these ideas into a song format. And the other night I had a call with Jeff, and I had a little epiphany. I was looking at how I would structure verses. And one of my musical influences was Billy Joel, who is the consummate storyteller in his songs, if you really look how he structured his songs. And I told Jeff, I said, you know what? I think his influence, if you look at my lyrics, each verse is kind of like a chapter of a story. And it's probably a product of, writing this book and Billy Joel's influence on how he structures his songs, and Jeff's influence on creating rhymes with each lines and kind of a tempo with it. So I figured, life's too short not to try something new.
Well, Jeff, how many songs did you have written before you brought these two marvelous people in to participate with you?
Well, for this project, I just had the one song. So they really added, to the project.
No, well, not for, you've written tons of songs.
I've written a lot of songs over the years.
Yes.
I've been writing like 35 years or so. So I have a lot of songs. And they're out there. There's a few albums out there that I've done.
And do you do any songs about law enforcement?
I don't think we've done a song about law enforcement. We've done some other songs that are more about the world, about things, We have a few different subjects, yes, that we've worked on. Probably some that would piss people off. So
we decided to do some concept albums. So we're releasing a few albums, like we just released a Mantrananda album, like a new wave. A new age album. I know. Sorry, new age album, and then we're releasing a what's it called?
It's a blues album.
Blues album, right? Then we're doing like a Christian album, then a love song album. We're doing a whole bunch.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a really nice album. It just came out. It's I had done an album under another band name called Mantrananda about 10-12 years ago with another person, and I started writing some songs that had to do with man's connection to nature. And I started liking them, and I, you know, because we're all sort of working on this other project, I said, "What do you think of this?" And I played them the songs, and then they said, "Yeah, let's write some songs."
Yeah, we want in.
So,
we want in on everything. And you know what? It's such a great release because we're so frustrated with everything that's going on, and also I'm tragically single. So to get away from my depression, this is a great way. Like when you feel depressed, I just go write a song.
Don't be too upset you're single, believe me. I don't want to ask you your age, but I'll tell you that my daughter didn't
48.
get married. What is it?
48.
Well, that's about the time my daughter found her husband.
Okay. Well, that gives me a little bit of
She took
hope.
the time off between college and marriage to go see the world. You know, she traveled around and paid her own way and had lots of experiences. I'm not in favor of people getting married really young.
Well,
So,
I mean, I had a whole plan, but that whole
Jeff.
plan crashed and burned. That plan crashed and burned, and that was like 7-8 years ago already, and I've been like single since then. So thanks, Jeff.
well,
Anyway,
no bitterness here.
Charles, are you married?
Yes, I am. But I still won't kiss Jeff.
I'll get
You
off
know what
already.
you're missing.
You should see the songs that he writes. His songs are crazy. Wife Swap, it's a great song.
Oh yeah, Charles has a recurring theme lately in his music. He's got one called "Wife Swap," and
It's a great song.
a great
It did come
song.
out good, I will say. It did come
There
out
was a show, a television too.
I know, but I think they're doing a rerun. If they do, we've definitely got to get that song in there because it's an awesome song.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You should look that up and see if you can get that song on there if they do a rerun, because they're rerunning everything. They're not creative anymore. So,
Yeah.
let me ask you something. Is this a company, Patriot Nation? Are you all partners in that? Is it a company, or you're just using it to be released?
So our main group is actually called Broken Heart Rebels. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, and then we brought Charles into that. So that's our main group is Broken Heart Rebels. And then from there, we've got like the Patriot Nation, and then we've got the Mantrananda, and kind of like as a sub little groups, you know, the sub little groups underneath there. But the main group is Broken Heart Rebels.
So the label is Broken Heart Rebels.
Yeah, that started with kind of like Jeff and I as a broken-hearted people.
That's why I wrote Wife Swap.
He's married and brokenhearted, I guess.
He's also brokenhearted too. So we decided that'll be like the main group is Broken Heart Rebels, and then everything we'll do is, you know, Broken Heart Rebels brings you, you know, Christian.
Here, I thought this was the only album you had because we didn't discuss anything except that album.
Surprise!
Yes, this is absolutely wonderful. So
Thank you.
You're just creating albums. Are you actually making any personal appearances?
No.
Here.
No.
Just on your show for right now.
Well, good. You can be some of my permanent guests coming on when you release albums and all.
Oh, awesome.
But now, who is writing the new book?
So that's Charles and myself.
And what is that? Is that another police book like your last one?
No. So a couple of years ago, I wrote a book called Terminal Hitman.
Right.
And
That's
so
what you came on the show for.
Yeah, that's right. And so this is the follow-up to that.
Oh, cool.
Terminal Hitman, State of Deception. And we have a lot of topics about what's going on in the world today.
Oh.
So it should be interesting. And we have a great idea for the following book.
When are you going to release this follow-up to Terminal?
I think in the fall. We just need right now to get I think we're at the point where we're going to get an editor just to, you know, go through it, and then so we're almost done with it. I'd say hopefully another month and we'll be done with it. We can start getting it out there.
No, I am also tied to the project, by the way.
You're tied to the book project?
Yes, even though I'm not writing the book, I'm kind of in the book.
Uh-oh.
Right, Jen?
Oh, yes.
How can you
sort
forget? I'm like a main character.
You are?
Yeah.
She is sort of one of the characters in there. I do have to admit that.
Right. Hello.
Except I made the character Australian just so that she wouldn't get upset in case she didn't like the character.
Wait, I thought you said you were from South Africa. Am I wrong?
Yes, no, I'm from South Africa.
Yeah, she is, but I made the character Australian just so that she can't sue me later on saying that I used her.
And it wasn't so that I wouldn't get upset. It's just so that other people wouldn't know it was me. Yeah. So that your other girlfriends wouldn't get upset that you put me in the book. Let's just be real here.
You guys could all be stand-up comedians too.
Yeah, because he has his other girlfriends get mad, like when he took me to Paris, or like, if he like considers me before them, even though they're ex-girlfriends, but I don't know why. So of course it gets furious that I'm in his book. So, we had to disguise me in the book.
Charles, is this why you're talking about wife swap? You guys are so funny. So funny. Let's go back for just a minute to your law enforcement careers. That was quite a while ago. Were you actually on the same force together?
We started out in the same force, and then Charles actually went to the California Highway Patrol. So he had a really long, distinguished career there.
Great.
Yeah,
okay.
Years.
That's a long time. In such a dangerous job. And I'm sure it changed a lot over the years too.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you both for your service in that. We appreciate that.
And to all our law enforcement.
Absolutely. Yeah. And our servicemen and women too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're having a tough time in this country right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to remember that. Now, do you have any songs written about what is going on with law enforcement or the service in these different albums and things, the way the country has changed?
Well, we have Heroism Has No Color. So Charles wrote that song. Yeah. That's a really good song. But we should probably do a song about that. It's a good topic.
A tribute to, Heroism Has No Color is a tribute to the veteran.
Yeah. That's good. That's great. Well, okay, let's talk a little bit about Georgie and how she's making you all well and healthy and strong.
Oh. Yeah, so so Jeff actually got me into this called LifeWave. LifeWave is fantastic. So I've been into natural health and wellness for ages. So first of all, it was Arbonne. So Arbonne is also natural, like healing your body from the inside out.
And a very well-respected company.
Yes, for over 40 years.
Yes.
And then Jeff discovered LifeWave, which is phototherapy healing patches, which actually activates your own body's healing ability. So it activates stem cells, it activates certain peptides in your body. And basically, I call it like wearing, so there are these patches, where are they? Had them right here. So they are these patches. They have different patches for different things. This is the main one right here, X39.
Is this part of Arbonne?
No. LifeWave is a different company.
Okay.
And you just wear these little patches on your body. They're so small and they're so great because they're non-transdermal, which means they don't actually put anything in your body. So you don't even have to wear them directly on. You can actually even wear them over your clothes.
Oh.
They just need to be within a few inches of your skin. So they're non-transdermal. They don't put anything in. And they have these nanocrystals, like a nanocrystal technology inside here, which just works on the frequency from your body, and the UV light coming off your body activates. Yeah, it activates this patch to send a signal back into your body. So basically, I call it like wearing a satellite. If you can imagine like wearing a satellite dish on your body and an antenna at the same time, like a solar panel and a satellite dish. So the solar panel picks up the heat off of your body, and then the antenna picks up the frequencies and the frequency coming off your body and sends a signal back into the body to activate your own body's stem cells and healing abilities, which is fantastic. And I'll tell you, it's instant pain relief. So I actually keep them on my bed. So I keep the Eon on my bed. This for me works fantastic for pain relief.
Now, how long do you take? How long?
For me, this gives me pain relief within 20 minutes.
And how long does it last? When do you take it back off?
Oh, so these are supposed to be worn during the day, and you take them off at nighttime. But for me, actually, you wear this at nighttime. Oh, I'm wearing them right now, actually, on my shoulders because I had pain. Actually, the pain is gone. So I put this on before the show because I was having pain in my shoulders, and no pain right now. It took the pain within 20 minutes. There was instant pain relief.
Does it interfere with anything else in your body?
No.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, it activates your stem cells to do more work in your body?
Yes, because your stem cells start dying off as you get older. So
stem cells is the way to go. I know people who have been totally cured of their cancer, very severe cancer, that they were given only a couple months to live, and they were totally with the stem cell treatments.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jeff is actually the one who got me into this, and it took me a while to get on board, but I love these things, and everybody that I've recommended them to, they just love them. And, there's different patches for different things. There's patches for helping you lose weight. There's patches to help you grow your hair back. There's patches to build your bone, if you're having like any arthritis issues or anything like that. There's even a patch for equine health. Like if you have horses.
Well, I don't have a horse.
Okay. But these
all
patches
the
are
rest
incredible.
I can use.
Yeah. So we love the patches. So I'm grateful for
that.
it.
I looked into it for a couple of years. I looked at the guy's research. He's the guy who invented it. Actually was a contractor with the military and created glutathione patches for submariners. So I figured usually when people work with the military, they kind of know what they're doing, the scientists.
They have to, yes. They're very well vetted. Yeah.
So when he came out of it, he decided to go in the private sector, and they ended up creating a multi-level marketing thing for this because they knew it would have to be word of mouth on, from people having the great testimonials. I was a little bit skeptical in the beginning. I tried one of them for a month and I was like, I don't feel anything, but then I looked into it and I kept seeing all the research and the patents and the testimonials. I said, well, maybe I should try this again. And I did. And I started in October of last year. And it's hard to tell like what's going on. Like because it's different with everybody. Sometimes you get energy, sometimes you don't. But I just kept to it. And all I can tell you is that I had bad asthma. I was using inhalers and everything. It's gone. I got no more asthma. I don't use inhalers. I got no wheezing. I can only attribute that to the X39 patch. And I was on a call with some of these other people, and it turns out there was actually a former law enforcement guy who was also using it. And he said, oh yeah, my asthma's gone also. So I can
That's amazing.
I can at least say it did that. And I guess because it's regrowing the stem cells, there's a lot of different testimonials. I can at least testify to that. Some of the other things I haven't tried, but
well, you guys send me some information on it. I don't know if you know this, but I owned a health and nutrition publishing
that's
company.
Right. Because I heard you were into that.
Yeah, and I owned it for quite a while, and it was international and had over 1.7 million circulation.
Wow.
And then I sold the company. But yeah, I'm into all these things, and none of them were so cool. Wacky things. They were all good things that people use that, I was very interested in and things like this. I no longer have the company, as I said, but yes, this is fascinating.
So for you, since you mentioned that you're interested in the hair growth, that's X39 and X49. So those are the two patches you use for hair growth.
So what's the price point on this for the people
It's actually super cheap to get, to get involved. I think it's just $25 basically to become, to get the patches at a discount. And then the main patches like the X39, X49, once you get, once you join to get them at a discount, I think they're like $99 for those patches.
What if you don't want to join the distribution section? What if you just want to buy the patches? Is that possible?
Yeah, no, you can
I believe that's what I'm doing. I'm not really running the business. I just have them like on order every month. Forget what I'm paying. I think is it $119? It's either $99 or $119 that per month for once for a month supply of the X39. So it's let's put it this way. As some people can look at it and go, what? That's expensive. But then when you think about $30,000 stem cell operation.
Oh my God, yes. This woman that I know was, she's very well off financially. Not everybody can go and have all their stem cells worked on and replaced.
The one that really worked for me and what really convinced me, to be honest, is, like I said, I was very skeptical about things like that. And there's a patch called Eon, and
that you just showed
that one. And that one, what it does is it's really good for anxiety and
anti-inflammation.
Anti-inflammation, but anxiety is the one where I noticed when I was really, really anxious, I put that on, and like really within like 5 to 10 minutes, I could just feel myself just calming down. I mean, you could just really feel it. So that kind of convinced me. Like I said, the X39 took a while just because you have to. It's it's
you got to use it every day.
You got to use it every day. But after about 3 months, like I realized, I'm not wheezing. I haven't used my inhalers. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, like it's all gone. Like, the constant doing this and the wheezing at night, all gone. And I could only attribute that to X39. And then it was confirmed when I talked to somebody else and said he had the same experience.
So then did you stop using your medication, like your inhalers and things like that? And you still use the patch for that?
Still using the patch, and I haven't used any inhalers. And
that's what convinced me to start trying it, is when Jeff told me about how it helped him with his asthma. I mean, because I lived with Jeff, so I know how bad his asthma and allergies are. So that's what convinced me to start trying it out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, you have to.
Yeah, it's amazing. And actually, the X39 and the Eon patch, these two together have amazing benefits for PTSD. Believe it or not, because of this, how good this is with stress and anxiety and relieving those things.
Well, the best way to put it is, how when you go on the sun hits your skin and it gives you vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We don't, then we don't know the process, but we know that's the way it works.
Of course. Yeah.
Same thing with this, that it works off of the heat.
The heat's coming off your body.
You don't need to be a scientist or a doctor in order to tell everybody about it. And you have all those studies behind it from the gentleman who created it. So.
And it's patented technology as well. They have lots of patents.
Now, what is the name of the company?
LifeWave.
LifeWave. And how do they get a hold of one of you?
So it's
figure it out.
Us, it would be like lifewave.com/Georgie Donovan or lifewave.com/Jeff Bonilla.
Okay. Well, everybody, you should check this out. It sounds marvelous to me.
It's amazing.
And they probably have patches to put on them to be creative and create books and music too.
Probably, because it works on the energy on your body too. So it like gets it in line, makes you feel great. So I love these things.
I just see the M&M peanuts.
M&M peanuts.
Yeah, that's my life wave.
Oh.
Well, I have to say I like them too.
Haven't had those in ages.
I was going to say something really quick if I could change the subject.
Sure.
At the very top of the show, I didn't hear that about the about the actor from
Matthew Perry.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Matthew Perry. I had not heard that. And ketamine, that's like one of the things that we use in our fiction books, because ketamine is used for like as a tranquilizer for animals.
Yes, yes, it
so
is.
The fact that they're giving this guy ketamine is just like wild. Like it just
Well,
is extreme.
okay. So what I know about Matthew Perry, I actually met Matthew Perry once. When you live in Beverly Hills, you meet a lot of people, and he was very kind, and he would talk to anybody who came up to him and say hello in a restaurant or anything like that. Hollywood in the entertainment industry has a real drug problem. And like they used to talk about it in the 80s and all of the cocaine problem is immensely spread through the entire industry, from the grips on a show to the stars on the show. And many, many people get hooked on these things. And ketamine is used for depression and anxiety with a prescription. I kind of looked into it today because it really upset me that this man who was so popular, nobody ever said a bad word about Matthew Perry. Everybody thought he was very kind, the people he worked with on the show and all. And sometimes when you become really, really successful, you can't accept it. You have a hard time dealing with it, that people are kind of hanging on to and doing all this. So that's how they get into these drugs in the beginning, to feel better.
Yeah.
So he did have this problem, and he had gone to rehab, and he actually started rehab homes out here for men in particular in the different areas. Like I think they were maybe in the Pacific Palisades, Santa Monica area, where he was helping men with rehab for drug abuse. That's how kind he was. And he had gone through rehab several times. And ketamine is one of the things that they give you when you're trying to get off your drugs and all, because then you get off the high of the cocaine and you go down. And then, of course, if you're trying to get off of it, you do become depressed and anxious. Plus, the people who are depressed and anxious can get ketamine from your doctor also. And apparently he was on the prescription of it, but his prescription ran out, and somehow they've arrested a doctor and some drug dealers. They don't have all the facts out there in the public view right now, but there definitely seems to have been some bad stuff going on, and he OD'd on it, I guess. They said they had really a lot of ketamine in his system. So it's really sad.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The good ones. Yeah. So with that sad note, that's good to bring that up, Jeff, because people with depression really need help.
Yep.
And anxiety. My son was depressed, and he was 49 2.5 years ago, and he took his own life.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I will never get over it. Never get over it. And that's one reason we moved to the desert. So I could kind of change my life. And all my daughter is still with me, thank God. Not physically. She lives in Santa Barbara. But it's horrible to lose people you love, and to think that you could never help them.
I know. Yeah. I take ashwagandha every morning.
That's a good thing to do.
Yeah, to take as a natural thing, because I didn't want to do any antidepressants or anything like that. Because I did try, but it just makes you feel so awful, like the shakes and whatever. And I tried just maybe for a few days, like many years ago, and it's horrible. So because I do suffer from depression. And
I think a lot of people suffer from depression. It's our world we live in now. I don't recall growing up and seeing a lot of depressed people. It wasn't.
But ashwagandha is amazing.
Ashwagandha is very good. For a lot of
I do recommend that for anyone.
I would too.
As a natural.
Yeah. Yes. Oh. Okay, so when can we expect the next? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, how about that Obama?
Obama, well, she still hasn't given a press conference.
And she's not going to.
And no, you know, I was thinking about their convention this morning. And it starts Monday and it ends Thursday. And
it's going to be interesting.
You know, it's very interesting to me because she is a fool. She can't speak on anything.
I know.
And what if they go to the convention and secretly these delegates have decided they don't want
I saw you say that.
Or Kamala
mm-hmm.
or Camellia, they're now calling her, changing her opinion all the time.
I know.
Mm-hmm. So what if they decide to put Michelle in there?
Michael?
That would be interesting.
Well, they could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a very strange thing to tell all of us that they had an internet vote with all of these delegates.
Totally undemocratic.
It's just really strange. And I don't know why anybody who is a woman would vote for her because she's a woman.
I know.
I've never done that in my life. I would like to see a woman in there as president sometime, but there isn't one woman that I know in Congress or that is really ready to be the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Now, I could say being an ambassador to the UN or being a governor or something, you've got a lot of background there. But the problem is, even though we've had prime ministers in some of the countries that are female, those countries were not being aggressively attacked in the press or in protests against the United States. And I honestly don't think if she can't stand up for a press conference or an interview, she's not capable of talking to Xi or Putin or anybody. I mean, look at what's happening. She's totally against Israel, which I am not. I'm not Jewish. I'm a Christian. But I have Jewish friends, and I admire the Jews who left Germany and some of the other countries and went and formed Israel in 1947. And they took back their own land because we're all Christians here, I believe.
Yes.
Read in the Bible. It's their land. And they only took a small portion of it for their country, and they deserve to have it. They are not violent people like the Palestinians. And I don't like the fact that Kamala is pro-Palestinian. And I'm happy to hear that the squad has already had 2 members that lost their reelection in their primaries. So,
that was the whole thing.
We're going to write a song about this. We're going to call it Box of Rocks.
I think, that's really a good thing to do.
Well, the other thing you mentioned in your opening was about who's running the country right now, because I don't think we don't even have a president running the country right now. And that's super scary.
We don't have a president or a vice president. And I guess Blinken is running it some ways. He's more into the international law because he's Secretary of State. So he's got to keep negotiating with people and talking to the different heads of state and all in the different countries. And we are prime meat to be attacked by the butchers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's scary to see what's happening in Europe, Australia.
They don't talk about, the massive human trafficking that they have going, and the dark money that they're receiving from. I mean, they're doing this on purpose. People are getting paid off. People are making money.
Oh, absolutely, dark money.
Yeah,
and a coup to take out the president, but they don't call it a coup. Only we're calling it a coup. Okay, listen, I want everybody to go to their favorite spot to buy these albums. Look them up wherever you like to buy your music, and all the proceeds go to the artist, nobody else right now. And the reason I'm saying this is because we have taken up all the time.
Yes.
And I run out of
PatriotNationMusic.com is where you can go to get Patriot Nation music.
Say it again for them.
PatriotNationMusic.com. You can start there.
Start there and start buying them. Okay,
Yes,
thank you all. Charles, Jeff, Georgie, all of you. Thank you so much for coming on. I'd love to get your opinions and why you write these beautiful things. So we'll have you on again. Get busy on the new album, get busy on the new book, and get busy on Arbonne and Life Wave.
Yes, Life Wave.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We had kind of a different show today. It was so fun talking to the artists and getting their opinions on everything. Remember, cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, and live today. Thank you.